This weekend we're at Kuala Lumpur for the Malaysia Grand Prix and we're starting off with today's practice session. So sit back, relax and enjoy the action. So after the first race, how do you think this season will compare to previous years?
Well, I hope that we're in for a fantastic season. The Mercedes team have certainly come out of pre-season testing the strongest, which is all well and good, but it's the racing where the pace really counts. It's always difficult to predict, therefore, who's going to come out on top.
The new regulations for this year say goodbye to the somewhat unique nose designs that we saw on the 2014 cars.
The 2014 changes were brought in to promote safety, but I don't think it was anticipated how the teams would exploit the regulations. This year, those regulations have been tightened up to give us a more traditional look to the noses on the 2015 cars.
What's going on, guys? Over here. Welcome back to my F1 2015 career mode. We're back with part number 2 here at the Malaysian Grand Prix in Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari. If you haven't seen part 1, that was only uploaded 1 hour ago on this channel, so go pause the video right now. This is your chance. Go check it out here at the start of the season at Australia. So, I'm going to spoil it now. That last race we had a truly amazing start to the race. Can't get any better. So I'm hoping that we can do better here at Malaysia. It's going to be a bit trickier because I said in that previous video in part 1 that I did some time trial stuff before I started recording this career mode. I didn't do anything on Malaysia, so I'm going into this blind basically in this practice session, so hopefully we can get some good laps in. The practice sessions are only 30 minutes long on this normal race weekend for the career mode, so hopefully that'll be enough time to get some practice in for Malaysia. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit trickier. Australia, more of a street circuit here. It's a proper, thoroughbred circuit here in Malaysia. So we've cut on to some laps in practice now. We've actually been going for 4 laps now on these prime tyres, and I can tell you they felt absolutely awful. It felt awful. It was like driving the 2012 Ferrari. It felt like a dog of a car on these prime tyres. I didn't try the option tyres. I believe they're the medium white wall tyres. But these primes felt so bad. The amount of understeer, oversteer, all at the same time in corners, and the lockups into turn 1 and just also the last hairpin were very, very difficult. The braking was very, very difficult in the practice sessions. I'll talk a little bit about that basically. So obviously you guys know that now in 2015 and in 2014 indeed, they have brake-by-wire. So it's almost like an electronic brake almost. So the feeling of the braking is very much very different for the drivers now to what it was back in the V8 era. Drivers like Kimi Raikkonen have expressed their concern in terms of they can't feel the brake pedal, and that's why in 2014 especially, when Ferrari had an even bigger issue with it, he couldn't feel the front end, he couldn't feel the brake pedal really underneath him, and also Sebastian Vettel the same way, and that's because the brake-by-wire is basically on and off, and that's the same sort of thing in this game. They've sort of really done a good job at trying to mimic it, and I just found it so difficult here in Malaysia, so that's going to be something we have to try and look out for in the race and qualifying, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue. But that's enough waffling about practice. Let's get on to that qualifying session. Let's hopefully do as well as we did in Australia, and maybe even better. Let's go.
Welcome to F1. It's now time for the important stuff. Time for qualifying here at the Malaysia Grand Prix. Last year we saw a wonderful race here in Malaysia, and I'm expecting another fascinating weekend to come here in Kuala Lumpur.
Well, there are at least 3 or 4 other drivers that could be strong contenders for a front row start tomorrow. So it's difficult to predict who will come out on top, but it's certainly going to be an exciting qualifying session today.
So here we are for qualifying for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and I'm feeling actually better than I did for practice, because I didn't show you it, but towards the end of practice I started fine-tuning the setup essentially, and I went out for one last lap right at the end of practice, and it felt better. It felt better on the same set of prime tyres. So I'm hoping that on the grippier option tyres here at Malaysia that we can really do a good job. So just going through this setup now there, loading on low fuel obviously for qualifying, and hopefully this can be a pretty decent lap time. Obviously part 1 we got, 6th place in qualifying, then ended up 6th in the race in part 1. So hopefully we can try and do the same sort of thing, and hopefully, as I said at the beginning of the video, improve on that. So here we go onto the flying lap for this Malaysian Grand Prix, qualifying up into 8th gear with the DRS wide open into that turn 1. Now this turn 1 is very tricky, but that's not too bad of an entry there. I must say I had so many worse entries into that corner in practice, so I'm really happy with that entry into turn 1. You'll see what I mean later on in the video in the race. Turn 1 is, at least for me, very tricky because I haven't got used to those the kind of new braking system. Yeah, it's sort of like you can't trail brake exactly, and you can't just slam on the brakes like you used to in F1 2014. They do lock up very easily now, but it's very hard to kind of manage because there's no essential trail braking to be exact, otherwise you'll just lose your rear end. And obviously now this year, finally, after like 4 years, you can't rape the gears anymore. You can't rape the downshifts so rapidly fast to decelerate your car. You have to just downshift normally like they do in real life, nice and calmly into the braking zone. So that's something that's changed very, dramatically, and hopefully that will mean it shakes things up for not just career mode, but also online and whatnot. But anyway, we got on this lap, and it's been a pretty damn tidy lap, if I do say so myself. We got held up by the Sauber a little bit there. I think it was a Sauber, if I remember. But we got held up by the Sauber a little bit there. But so far, it's been a very clean lap. I haven't had any major, moments of understeer or oversteer like I was getting practice on those prime tyres. I'm going to guess that when we get to the race, when we go on that prime stint, that's not going to be a very happy stint for me. But we'll see how that goes. We're now going into the last corner. Perez is blocking us a little bit, but we could actually use him for a little bit of a tow here. We're going to open DRS. He opens his, and we're going to get the little slipstream here. This could actually help us get some straight line speed, and we have set a purple fast lap of the session so far. Obviously, we've just gone out. It's our second lap. No one's really set a lap time yet, so I don't know how that's going to be, but let's see what it's going to be at the end.
Crowd loved that qualifying performance by Sebastian Vettel. He made it look easy.
They've been working so hard as a team, and they've been rewarded. Such a great performance. And if he drives like that tomorrow, then the race win will definitely be possible.
Boom! Pole position for the Malaysian Grand Prix. That is absolutely awesome. After the dismal practice we had, I finished up in 12th or something in practice in the standings. To come back and get pole position in only our second, episode on Legend AI on this game is absolutely amazing. Let's see if we can try and carry this forward to Sunday. Let's go to the race.
Good afternoon and welcome from Sepang for what is going to be a fascinating race. It's the Malaysia Grand Prix. On pole for today's race is Sebastian Vettel, who'll be feeling very confident ahead of the start. He put in a wonderful performance yesterday, and if he drives like that today, well, he could be unbeatable.
He was driving on another level yesterday, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he just pulls away from the field and is untouchable. But as we know, anything can happen in Formula 1, so we'll just have to wait and see.
It was a good win last time out for Lewis Hamilton, who will still be feeling buoyant going into today's race. He knows he's got the beating of the rest of the field as long as he doesn't hit any reliability issues with his Mercedes.
Well, Lewis can beat anyone on his day. His pace has been second to none at times. He just has a knack of finding those extra tenths which others can't. I'm expecting him to be particularly strong at the end of the stints today.
So here we are on the grid for the Malaysian Grand Prix, on pole position. Never gets up. That's not got old yet. I'm going to say that a million times this episode. Just the car felt so hooked up. I just can't kind of describe it. It just felt so good compared to what we had in Australia. Just amazing pace there in qualifying. And let's see what we can do in this race. The Legend AI are very good at overtaking, I can tell you. So it's going to be tricky. But the race strategy is going to be option prime. Our engineers are telling me. But I'm going to try and switch that to an option prime option in the middle of the race, because I want to get that horrible orange wall tyre out the way as quickly as possible in the middle of the stint, and probably try and save some fuel then. But here we go to the race start for the Malaysian Grand Prix, part number 2, and we rev up to 5 red lights for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And we're off. Are we going to get a better start than we did last time? It looks like we have. But Nico Rosberg has still managed to jump us there on the left-hand side. He's up into first place in his Mercedes. I've kept second. Raikkonen, my teammate, behind me. Though we're going to dive down the inside. Rosberg's gone a little bit wide there. Raikkonen right behind us up our gearbox. And Rosberg's now gone wide again in the second corner. And we've tried to go down the inside, but he's got us there on the exit. But now he slows down. Whoa, what on earth was that? Rosberg slows down so much. And we're back into the lead of this Grand Prix. So that was a change for first place 3 times there in the span of 3 corners. Awesome stuff. But we've got first place. We're going to set the rear brake bias to rear, because actually I found that out in qualifying that unlike Australia, where I set the bias to the front on this Ferrari, on the Malaysia, I just felt the need to set it to the rear. So that's a thing. So just to try and stop the fronts locking up so much into turn 1 and this hairpin coming up. So now we got onto lap 2. Nico Rosberg here is going to try and size up a move down the inside here, going to that hairpin, that last corner. For the moment, we're keeping first place, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult. Nico is really, really right up our gearbox for that entire first 2 laps. So here we go into lap 3 now. Rosberg in the slipstream. He's coming. He's got DRS now. DRS is activated. I think he might have it, but he's coming to the left-hand side of the track. He set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. He's gone round the outside. I'm down the inside. We're going side by side through turn 1. Is he still going to be on the inside on turn 2? Yes, we are. We banged tyres a little bit there on the left side tyre, and Rosberg has got me. Look at the traction he's got off that corner. Blitzed off, and we're down to second place, but we might come back at him here. Back, getting the slipstream back, and we get the toe down the inside, maybe. Yes, we do. We've lost the rear end a little bit. You can see the back end was going, slipping a little bit there in second gear, but we managed to get first place back. What brilliant racing this is with Nico Rosberg for the win of this Grand Prix, and only lap 3. And on the end of lap 3 now, we're going into rich mix at the moment, down to standard now. We've been in rich for 3 laps, and I probably should be going down to standard just to try and save some fuel, otherwise we might have a problem later on. But now going on to lap 4, Nico Rosberg is still very much there. Raikkonen's still very much there. It's an absolute train behind me. Here's Nico now. This time he's going down my inside towards turn 1, and this time he's completely got me with DRS. He even tries to defend down the inside, so that's great to see the AI defending there. You could see him kind of move to the inside, whereas before they probably wouldn't have done that. But we're going to try and keep first place, but no use. We try to make a little dive move into turn 2, but it didn't work out. At least we defended from Raikkonen, because he also got us for second place, but we managed to get him back in turn 1 down the inside. But Rosberg has got that, and I think it might be a bit too difficult to try and get first place back, as he's going to try and just shoot off like a bullet, basically a Mercedes bullet, like we've seen for the past year and a half pretty much. So now here we go on lap 4, Raikkonen getting the slipstream now with the DRS as well. He's gone down the inside of me. We're going to have to try and find him as best we can. Going to give him the room, but he's down my inside, and look at, oh my god, look at that. He's lost the back end, an absolute treat though, but he just completely ploughed down the inside there. But now, guys, we have more pressing matters. As you can see in the mirrors, there's a Williams on the right-hand side, and he's just going right past us. We're absolutely getting just drowned here in AI cars. We've got Massa here trying to go down the inside. I'm going to try and hang it around the outside, just desperately trying to defend, but it's no use. I think he's got us. I think Massa has fair and square got us there in the Williams. Great traction off the corner there. Just kicked the tail out a little bit there. Actually, it looked quite nice. And we're down to 4th, so we're just dropping like a fly from pole position now. Lap 5 laps gone, lost 4 places. So wow, either I just really haven't got used to this game, I've got the same sort of pace I had in practice, and all the Legend AI just this is just an example of how good they are. Hamilton flies right past me. Bottas is flying right past me on the left-hand side, I might add, trying to go around the outside, trying to get him back on the last corner. I think we may have done it just around the outside there. We have got that place back, and we're back up to 5th now with DRS. Even with DRS, look at how much Hamilton's gained. And now we have the second Williams coming up on the left-hand side. It's Bottas now with the DRS. We both have DRS, and just showing that the Williams low drag setup this year is really helping them out there on the straight. He was going to breeze past me if I didn't try and brake later than him into turn 1. We kept 5th place, thankfully, and hopefully, I'm really crossing my fingers that Ricciardo and him scrap behind me so I don't get overtaken here. But looking behind me, 2 proximity arrows, and there's Ricciardo. How the hell is the Red Bull slipstream me here? I just don't know. That's just how good they are now, and it's just amazing to see. They just breeze right past me. I'm trying my best, just really just hanging the car out for all it's worth, trying to defend. You can see, trying to go around the outside of Bottas. Bottas actually gets hit by Ricciardo there, you can see on the bottom left, and he nearly hit me there, and Bottas goes right around the outside. Ricciardo comes off worse, and he stays behind me, and we're now down to 6th place. So 7 laps gone, lost 6 places. Just brilliant. I'm really not that bad. The AI are just so good this year. And I'm not complaining about that. It's amazing to see they're finally just this punchy. It's absolutely brilliant. Now we're in 7th place on lap 8, at the very end of lap 8, coming in for our pit stop now. Now, I made sure this time, unlike part 1, that I put the prime tyre on like a lap in advance, so that my engineer told me, yes, prime tyre confirmed. So we're going on to these orange wall tyres. Now, these, as I said, and I've mentioned so many times in this video so far, in practice, it was just so shocking. It made my car feel like a boat compared to the option tyres in qualifying. So I'm just hoping that this can be a steady stint. We don't lose any more places, hopefully, and we'll do a little bit of fuel saving maybe, and we can just try and set ourselves up for that last stint, hopefully, and just try and recover from what has been just going backwards in this race off pole position. So now we cut all the way on to lap 16 indeed, and since we made our pit stop, we've basically just been taking it really easy. We've been just trying to look after the tyres as best we can, and we've been trying to save as much fuel. You can probably hear it, and you can see it on the rev counter on the bottom right. I'm just changing up very early, especially in gears 5 to 8, just changing up very early, trying to save as much fuel as possible, because the plan is going to be now, I'm going to pit onto the option tyres at some point, and I'm just going to push like a madman on those option tyres, put it up into rich mix for like 5 laps in a row and just really go for it. So that's what we'll be doing in this stint. We're in 7th place. We have fallen behind Daniel Ricciardo, unfortunately. He actually came out ahead of us after he made his pit stop after us, so he was already ahead of us. He didn't overtake us because we were going slower on this stint. So I just decided once he'd overtaken us, I saw him ahead, I was like, okay, we're just going to save fuel. We're going to go into a bit of a slow mode right now in this 2nd stint and really just work our way up for the 3rd stint. So here we are on lap 19 at the end of it. We're in P4 at the moment. That's because people have made their pit stops already. Pit limits are on and we're in for those last option tyres. The white wall tyre, we've got plenty of fuel now. I believe the engineer told me I had 15 kg of fuel, so that should be enough. 15 kg should probably take you around maybe 12 laps, I would probably think. I'm guessing just a little bit of guesswork. So we've got 8 laps left, so we could probably run rich mix for about 5 laps here. So we're just going to get the hammer down, coming out the pit lane now, and we're just going to, it's just hammer time. It's hammer time right now. We're just going to try our best to gain some positions back. So now on lap 21, we've been pushing really hard on this lap. It's actually getting a little bit overcast here, so we could see a little bit of rain towards the end, which might spice things up even more. But we're in P7 at the moment. We've just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So after an abysmal start to the race, the first 5 laps just going backwards, we're finally showing the pace we had from qualifying that got us pole position. And on lap 25, 4 laps later, pushing as hard as I could, we've crawled back like a 10 or 12 second lead that Ricciardo had, and indeed I think the Williams ahead of him, either Bottas or Massa. So we closed up on them. We still got that fast lap of the Grand Prix. As you can see, it's still in purple, indicating that's still the fastest lap of the entire race. So, and we're still good doing consistent times compared to that. So we have to try and overtake here. We've got 3 laps left. Can we do it? We're really getting on Ricciardo. This is our best chance here. He's going very slowly off the corner. Can we go down the inside? We're going to make the move down the inside. Oh god, we've cut the corner a tiny bit there. My bad, but we're up to the 6th place now down the inside. Ricciardo had to do a bit of opposite lock there at like a 5th gear, so that was absolutely amazing. And now we're on the back of Valtteri Bottas there. And if we can overtake him, this will be P5. So this will be an improvement on Australia, because right now we're equaling that result of the last corner, getting an okay exit, but Bottas got a much better one. But we've got DRS now, so surely we should get the slipstream. He doesn't have DRS, so this come on for our engine. This thing's got to try and get it in the slipstream. Going to go down the inside, make a little bit of a dive bomb move there, locked up on the right tyre quite badly into 1st gear momentarily, and we've just chucked it down the inside there, just hanged it round. And we've got 5th place there from Valtteri Bottas, and we're still going pretty well down to standard mix, because my engineer just told me that we're looking a little bit tight on fuel now, so we will just go to the end, trying to go to the unstandard. Maybe we can just use rich mix on the end of the straight. But here we go, we've got 2 laps left, 1 lap left once we finish this lap coming up to the last corner. As you can see, it started to rain. It's already raining on track, it's already pretty damp on track, and we've closed up on Felipe Massa. He was 5 seconds ahead of Bottas or something like that, and we've closed him up in just a matter of 2 laps because of the rain. I think he's been struggling quite a lot. I've been okay so far in these damp conditions, and this is much like Silverstone, the Grand Prix that just went when all the drivers were still on the dry tyres when it was pretty damp, and you just had to use driver skill to try and hang it around. And we're going to make a move down the inside. Massa goes wide, I go a little bit wide, I tap him a tiny bit, but we're down the inside, and that is 4th place. Look at it, he's so far behind now. We're in 4th place, that has confirmed it. It's not going to be a podium, unfortunately, so from 1st place, you know, maybe the team will still be disappointed with that, because, you know, we should really be converting a pole position at least into a podium here. But still, 4th place from the absolute horrible first stint we had, and the prime tyre stint. You know, just great. I really am glad I decided to save that much fuel, because I wouldn't have been able to catch these guys if I wasn't able to use rich mix for those 5 laps from lap like 19 to 25. That was really that was just so helpful. Really glad I did that. So now Nico Rosberg has won this Grand Prix. So Mercedes have won the first 2 races of the season. Surprise, we've lost the back end there on the last corner, but it doesn't matter. We're going to come through for what will be 4th place. Again, the glitch says 6th, but it is 4th place. Get in there. What an end to that race. What an end to that race. That was absolutely amazing to overtake 3 cars in the span of 8 corners, and with damp conditions at the end. That was so enjoyable.
Mercedes came out on top today, with Nico Rosberg bringing home the car in 1st place to add another 25 points to his championship total.
Sometimes a driver just feels comfortable in the car and is dialed into the track, making for an unbeatable combination.
It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time though, Goodbye.
So guys, that is the end of part 2 of this F1 2015 career mode with Sebastian Vettel. Smash that like button if you did enjoy. It'd be absolutely awesome if we could get over 1,000 likes on this second episode as well. 2 episodes in one day. I'm just enjoying it so much. You're going to see a lot of content coming out in like the next week and more, guys. Comment below what you thought. Subscribe when you're around here for daily Formula 1 content. Here, if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. That has been an absolute stunner of an episode. What a finish there. And now we've gained some points in the championship, and I'm looking forward to part number 3, which should come out tomorrow, guys. So yeah, I've been Aaron. Hope you enjoyed your day, and I'll see you guys next time.